Well, the last item on the agenda was the gemstone file, and the issue now was that we either had to approve it or it was going to be too late for us to do anything. So Mitchell, LaRue, and I talked about it.
I asked Jeb, I said, what the hell is this electronic surveillance business? He said, well, that's been in the mill a long time, and I'm getting a lot of pressure to get an answer on it.
The president wants it done. Haldeman seems to think it's very important. Colson's been on my back.
Mitchell read it. He looked at me and said, have you read this? I said, yes. He said, what do you think of it? I said, John, it's not worth the risk.
To me, it was a throwaway project. You know, give Liddy the $250,000 and let's get him off our back and satisfy the White House. And Mitchell finally said, okay, let's go with it, and signed off on the paper. Actually put his initials, as he always did, on the approval box to go ahead with the project.
I've reflected on this many times, and at the Key Biscayne meeting, or even after that, had I gone to Mitchell and said, John, this is crazy. I mean, this is a harebrained scheme. It's not going to do a damn thing but get us in trouble. Let's put a stop to it. If you have to, go to the White House and back them off the damn thing. Had I done that and done it forcefully, John would have listened to me. And he would have done that, and this whole mess could have been avoided. It's one of the real regrets I have about Watergate.
The president's campaign director had finally allowed Liddy's plan to go forward. But did the White House know? This program has uncovered the only existing written evidence of the authorization of the Watergate project. For 20 years, it was thought that all copies of this memorandum had been deliberately destroyed by the aide who wrote it for Haldeman.
I have here a talking paper, so-called, for John Mitchell from Gordon Strawn to me, and what this is a paper that Strawn prepared prior to my planning to meet with Mitchell.
This is a truly amazing document to surface at this late date. And what the document says is that Gordon Liddy's intelligence operation proposal, $300,000, has been approved, right there in big black and white letters. If Haldeman knew about this, there is no doubt in my mind that Richard Nixon knew about this, because everything that Haldeman knew, he knew for the sake of Richard Nixon. And it's just inconceivable to me that this type of information, which Nixon loved, would not be shared with him.
We knew that Gordon Liddy had been set in as this campaign counsel, but with the responsibility for intelligence. And apparently he had a budget approved and was going to start moving on doing whatever he was going to do.
I was called in by Jeb Stuart Magruder to his office, and he said, can you get into the Watergate office building? We want you to wiretap Larry O'Brien's telephone and put in a room monitoring device so that conversations in there can be held. Anything that's available, we want it photographed.
To photograph the documents, Liddy rehired the Cubans who had handled the Ellsberg job. If anything went wrong, they could not be traced. But the man he chose to bug the phones mainlined straight back to the president.
I took the decision, a dangerous gamble and risk, something I had told people I wouldn't do, and I recruited Mr. James McCord, who was the security chief of the committee to re-elect the president.
The president himself was 5,000 miles away in Moscow. He crowned a year of foreign policy triumphs by signing the first nuclear arms limitation agreement with the Soviet leader Leonid Brezhnev. On Sunday the 28th of May, he concluded with a speech to the Russian people on television.
Спасибо и до свидания.
That same night, the security chief of his re-election committee, with his Cuban colleagues, broke into the Watergate.